beautiful souls, welcome back to the channel. In this video today, I'm going to talk to you all about how to rent a home in Merida, Mexico. It's going to be a little bit loud because I'm up on my balcony slash patio and it's Mexico, so you're going to have to get used to all the beautiful noise, so to speak, if you plan on moving here. Renting in the Yucatán is very different than renting in other parts of Mexico, so you're going to want to learn the process for here. I will also speak a little bit about pricing towards the middle of the video so you can get a feel on how much you might be spending on rent here in Merida. You do not have to be a resident here in order to rent. You can actually rent with your tourist card and passport, which your tourist card you will get when you fly in on the airplane. And you need to hold on to that tourist card because it's super important, and you actually have to give it to, I think it's immigration, before you leave the country or you're in trouble. When you're ready to rent a house, I recommend looking on Facebook Marketplace for your rental. And if you actually want help with the process of renting a home, I recommend hiring a relocation company like Merida Moves, because they will help you not only find your home, but also get through the legal process of renting a home here. Basically, they will ensure that you have an easy and smooth process. If you watch the end, you'll be able to hear from Barbara Blanco, who is the owner of Merida Moves, on the actual specifics of renting a house here, right from an expert. I will break the process down really quickly for you right here. When you find a house here, you will typically have to pay 3 months upfront. 1 month deposit, 1 month rent, and the contract fee, which can equal 1 month's rent, or it can be a whole lot less. It just depends. Here in the Yucatán, they are going to want you to have, most likely, someone called an avail. So an avail is someone here local in Merida that actually owns property here. And basically, this person will sign alongside you. And their property serves as collateral in case you default on your rent. When I lived in Guanajuato, I didn't have to do any of this stuff. I didn't sign any contracts. I just paid money and moved right in. So this was a shock to me when I came to Merida with how official things are.
Oh my God.
How much noise there is here in Mexico, but you grow to love it, so you just have to get used to it. But yeah, things are really official here, and expats move here and they get super shocked with all the details that go into actually renting a home. You are going to want to have a minimum of 3 months rent saved up before you move here. I recommend more, but you know, if you want to take a leap, go ahead and take a leap and have at least 3 months saved up. I also recommend you start with Airbnb. Rent a place on Airbnb first, get a feel for the different areas, and then decide the area you really like to live in and look at houses that are in that specific area. Do not sign for a house before moving here and before seeing it in person. I have seen so many people do this, and it turns out almost every time as a disaster. You need to get here, check out the house, check out all the things you need to check out before signing for a house. So get an Airbnb, take your time before signing any type of contract. If you are not fluent in Spanish and you're not familiar with the laws here, I highly recommend you hire a relocation expert like Merida Moves, or a company like Merida Moves, so that you know what you're signing. The contract that you'll sign here will be in Spanish, and it will not be translated for you. So you're going to need someone who knows Spanish to look it over and knows the law, so that the owner doesn't put in things like, I don't know, that you're responsible for everything that happens in the house, including pipes and all kinds of stuff. Renting here is very different than renting in the US, so to speak. So here you usually are responsible for many of the repairs needed in the home, whereas when we rent in the United States, often the landlord is the one that's responsible for that. So you want to make sure that the contract you're signing has what you actually want in it and doesn't have things that are just added in it. house I rented here that was actually featured on House Hunters International. You can find out more info on the actual episode in the description below. Had tons of problems. It was an older home, and I learned a valuable lesson. I learned that I only want to rent new homes or remodeled homes, and I want to ensure that I have a really great owner who's going to fix things if things go wrong. In a new home, it doesn't mean you won't have any problems here, but owners seem to be more likely, at least in my experience, to repair things because they don't want their brand new home or remodeled home falling apart. And with the older homes, from my experience, I've rented a few, the owners don't seem to give a fuck. So how much does an average rental here in Merida actually cost? Well, that depends on so many factors. I get this question a lot, and it's actually really challenging to answer because it depends on so many things like location. Is it furnished or unfurnished? Is it newer? Is it older? Does it have a pool? Does it have ACs? Basically, if you get something unfurnished here, it means freaking unfurnished. You might not have a stove, refrigerator, shoot, you might not even have toilet seats. I've paid as little as $370 a month here and as high as almost $2,000 a month here. And I know people that have paid less than $370 a month here and more than $2,000 a month here and everything in between. So it just depends. It also depends on when you come to Merida. If you come during high season, the winter months, the prices tend to be higher. If you come during the summer when it's blazing hot and nobody wants to be here, the prices can be a lot lower. And outside Periférico, it can be even more affordable to rent a house, sometimes as low as 3,000 pesos a month for a small house. I prefer to live in Merida right off of Paseo de Montejo, around everything, but you get to choose what works best for you. Now you can hear from Barbara Blanco herself, the owner of Merida Moves, on her professional experience and insight on renting in Merida, Mexico.
I'm Barbara Blanco from Merida Moves, and the things that we do basically is help expats to move here in Merida and area, Yucatán, Merida area. So we help them through the whole process, you know, to get in houses, help them to the process to the notaries, renting a house, contracts, and even immigrations issues, you know. So we help them during the whole. And when you're renting a house here in Merida, the first thing that you need is, of course, getting the house. So as soon you pick the house, you're gonna need at least 3 months in advance. So the first month, every time that you rent in a house, you're gonna need to pay in advance. So you pay and leave, you pay and leave. So that will be the first month. The second month is the deposit. You pay the full amount of your rent due monthly for a deposit. And the third month, sometimes it's not a third month, usually it's less than that, depends of the amount of your rent, but this will be a notary fee. Here in Merida, a notary is much more important than a lawyer. Usually asking the owners of Mexican houses, especially Yucatan houses, they asking you to have a guarantor or an aval. What is that? It's a person, a Mexican person that live here in Merida, if you're gonna rent here in Merida, of course, and they need to have a house, you know, on their own names. And that person gonna put the house in front, so for guarantee that you're gonna be an awesome tenant. When you get the house, you pay all that fees, you go to the notary place, and then usually all the notaries here doesn't speak English, so you're gonna need your own translate guy or person of trust. They're gonna translate the contract for you, because sometimes the owner, if they know that you don't speak English, you don't speak Spanish, sorry, they couldn't put in some stuff there that is not completely fair. We personally, I'm a lawyer, so we do that for our clients. So beside to give you all the process, we also gonna translate for you and gonna be next to you and the notary, so be clarified that everything will be okay for you and in your behavior.
That is all for today, beautiful souls. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, share this video, make sure you're subscribed. Until next time.